afternoon, everyone. This is Tony from our Homestead Skills. Well, it's been about 6 days now that I have been fermenting these cucumbers, and there has been definitely a color change. They've gone from a bright green to a dull green, let's put it that way, more like an olive color. And I've lifted the lid, and it's beautiful in there. Let me just see if I can bring the camera up to show you. Okay, so everything is perfect in there. There's a few bits of floating spices, but that doesn't hurt anything. And then you can see the weight holding those down. But the fermentation process seems to have completed. It's not bubbling anymore, and it's really not draining. And as you can see, the liquid is pretty much at the top of the jar. And it actually smells wonderful. Now let me go to the next jar. Same thing. Fermentation has stopped. And once again, you can see the weight here. That's the little glass weight that I've got, holding the cucumbers, pickles now, down, and just with a few spices floating. And for some reason, the spices floating never seems to hurt anything. And it smells wonderful, wonderful. Now, this other one here, I didn't have a weight for it. And I've done this in the past. I noticed that they were starting to float a bit. So I folded up some parchment paper, and that held them down. I think I used, 2 little bits of parchment paper, folded it down, and that held the cucumbers in place, which worked perfectly. Once again, everything is fermenting nicely. Now I could leave these another day or two, but I think I'm just going to put them in the refrigerator as is. They're ready to eat right now. So when Mark gets home, I'm going to have him test it. He has gone to the creek looking for salmon. Apparently the salmon should start running anytime now. So, okay, so what do you do with the leftover brine? Well, in this case, you can throw it out, sure. But I made some hard-boiled eggs. Actually, I made about 10 of them, and Mark decided that he wanted some deviled eggs as well. So 6 of them went in the deviled eggs, and the other 4 went into the leftover brine. He did ask me to add another hot pepper, and that's why one is floating and the other one is not. But yeah, give these about 10 days in this brine, and they should be nice and pickled as well. So never throw that away. And you can also use the store-bought pickles that are made in this manner and use the brine for the eggs so that you have pickled eggs. And they're pretty awesome, You don't have to spend, $5, $6, $7 for pickled eggs. You can make your own. Now I can, put a few more in this jar. I just did this yesterday. So I only made 10 hard-boiled eggs, and I used 6 of them for the deviled eggs, and the 4 that were left over were in here. So I think I could get at least another 4 or 5 in this jar, and I'll probably do that today. So just never throw away your pickling brine once your pickles are complete, and you should have some awesome pickled eggs as well. Now, I would also make pickled beans this way. I haven't had any success with beans the last year or 2 in my garden because the bunnies took full advantage of them for some strange reason, and just, they wouldn't even let them grow to an inch before they, a couple of inches. A plant was about maybe 2 inches tall, and the bunnies would just decimate them. But anyway, pickled beans are another. Now, I don't know where Mark bought this jar. I certainly didn't buy this because I don't buy these things. I make them. But I have made this in the past. So pickled beans are another thing that you can do with the fermented process, and that's the way I do beans. Otherwise, I find that they are just too soft and soggy for me. So I like to pickle cucumbers, beans. A few other things, not many. Certainly sauerkraut. I use the fermenting method. And yeah, beans turn out lovely too, nice and crisp. So that's it for now. Hopefully you're going to try making your own cucumbers, because they really are awesome. And a jar like this in the store costs quite a bit of money, whereas you could make it for just a fraction of the cost. I mean, literally, it's salt water and the cucumbers. Now, you can also buy all the fancy fermenting lids and things that let the air out. I find I've never needed them, and I've never had a problem with them. I just use a plastic lid, and I don't put it on tight. And yes, the liquid does. While it's fermenting, you lose some liquid out of the jar, so you do want to put it in a dish to catch the liquid. But once it's done, it stops doing that. And as you can see, there's no mold. They're perfect, and they're crunchy, and takes about a week to make them, and that's it. So, like I said, I hope you try them. This is Tony from our Homestead Skills. Talk to you real soon. And yes, it's getting cooler, and that just means pretty soon we'll be heading down south. Bye-bye for now.